Emma regarded her husband thoughtfully. He wore one of her white nylon blouses paired with her tight-fitting jeans. "I want to be the man," she confided. "I've yearned for it for as long as I can remember. Even as a child, I longed to don my brother's clothes. I'm not gay, and I understand I can't physically become a man. But I can live in a way that resonates with me," she clarified. "I yearn for the freedom men seem to have to behave like one, to dress without confinement. I want to give commands and be taken seriously. I'm struggling to comprehend," her husband responded weakly. "I've endeavored to make you happy, wearing what you ask of me." He tugged at the satiny blouse. "I handle the household chores," he added with a tinge of misery. Emma sighed. "I understand this is a lot to take in, William. But I can't shake this feeling. I'm older than you, and I feel time slipping away without any fulfillment. If it weren't for this inheritance and Aunt Jane's house, this might not have surfaced. But now, with this newfound wealth and her belongings, I want to pursue a different path to find my happiness." After a moment, she raised her gaze. "Originally, I planned to walk away, disappear without a trace," she confessed. William stared at his wife, his expression a mix of surprise and concern. "You were going to leave me? Then why didn't you?" he inquired, his voice tinged with a touch of hurt. Emma shrugged lightly. "I suppose there were two reasons. Selfishly, I knew it wouldn't be easy to take on this new identity alone. And perhaps I entertained the idea that you might help." William sank down onto the edge of the bed, his complexion draining of color. He shook his head slowly, as if trying to comprehend. "You mentioned two reasons," he said finally. "I love you. That's the second reason. I couldn't simply walk away." "You don't deserve that," she confessed softly. "How can you love me if you're saying goodbye?" William's voice trembled with uncertainty. Emma knelt beside him, taking his icy hands in hers. "William, I'm sorry, truly. But I want a wife, not a husband." His sigh mirrored her own earlier despair. "And yet you say you're not gay." "I didn't mean it in that sense. What I want is someone who will take on the role of my wife, someone who'll let me be the husband. Someone who will allow me to make decisions and take control in our relationship," she explained. A troubled frown furrowed William's brow. "You don't mean me?" he whispered, his voice filled with a mixture of disbelief and resignation. Emma stood, gazing out the window. "I had a feeling you'd say that." "Forget it. I just thought, well, it might be the only way for us to make it work. Without breaking apart, I mean." She walked toward the bedroom door. "Perhaps it's better if I leave now. Tearful goodbyes aren't my thing," she said over her shoulder. William rose from the bed and crossed the room, his hand lightly touching her arm. "Wait," he implored. Emma raised her eyebrows, waiting. William nervously bit his lower lip. "What would? I mean, being a wife. How? What would I do?" he asked, his voice uncertain yet willing. Emma's smile held a gentle assurance. Her plan was slowly taking shape. "Nothing too drastic. Just accept me as your husband. I won't immediately dress as a man. I'll maintain my current attire. But I'd like my hair short, you know. I'll take on all the tasks you do now," she explained without facing him. He frowned, a hint of discomfort evident. "And what about me? You don't expect me to wear a dress, do you?" His embarrassment surfaced with the mere mention of it. Emma's expression turned serious as she finally turned to meet his gaze. "And why not? If I'm brutally honest, yes, I would expect my wife to wear a dress and a bra," she admitted, her tone resolute. "I desire a graceful wife. I know it might sound unconventional, but that's what I want." Pausing for a moment, Emma continued, "How could you possibly play the role of my wife in pants? Clothes carry symbolism. Listen, I can guide you, assist you in appearing authentic, and in return, you can help me." Their eyes locked in a silent exchange until William lowered his gaze to the floor. "I'd look foolish," he muttered softly. Emma felt a surge of relief, carefully concealing her excitement. "Listen, I can help you look stunning. I won't deceive you. Initially, it'll all feel strange and difficult. But if you allow me to, I'll make it work. Trust me," she pleaded. After a few moments of silence, William meekly asked, "What do you want me to do?" Emma reached for the top button of his blouse. First, get out of these clothes, she directed. Swiftly and efficiently, she removed his blouse, then unzipped his jeans. Leading him to their dresser, she rummaged through her drawers. William seemed robotic, offering no resistance as she worked. Emma gently wrapped a black satin garter belt around his waist. Handing him a pair of black nylons, she instructed, "Put on these stockings. I want to show you something." Observing quietly, Emma watched her husband sit on the bed, mimicking her actions as he slipped his foot into the sheer nylon. She couldn't help but stifle a gasp behind her hand, marveling at how she had convinced her macho husband to shave his legs for her. It was all preparation for today, she mused to herself, observing him attach the garter tabs to the top of the stocking. With practiced precision, he repeated the process with the other stocking, adjusting the tabs for symmetry. Kneeling down, Emma slipped her shoes onto his feet, black leather pumps with 4-inch heels. Securing the ankle straps, she stood back to assess the transformation. Extending her arm, she offered him support to stand. William felt a slight sway, sensing the subtle changes in his legs, thighs, and torso. Emma handed him a pair of her lacy white panties. "Put these on and come to the mirror," she instructed. William accepted the delicate undergarment, and though he nearly stumbled while stepping into them, he soon found himself encased in the snug fabric, concealing his masculinity. His face flushed with heat, unable to meet Emma's gaze. He seemed hesitant to approach the mirror, so Emma nudged it toward him. "Focus on your legs, forget the rest. Tell me, do they look feminine? Would they catch your eye?" she prompted. Her husband's eyes widened as he looked at his reflection. They were undeniably shapely legs. "Definitely feminine," he silently acknowledged. Emma awaited his response. "Well," she prodded gently. William blushed deeper, stealing another glance at his legs in the mirror. He pointed his toe and managed a shy smile. "What's next?" he asked, his tone uncertain yet willing. Emma's grin was evident this time. "A bra," she declared. William grimaced, but he stood compliant as she fastened a white satin and lace bra around his chest. A peculiar sensation enveloped him. The gentle satin embraced his chest, causing a fluttering feeling between his legs as Emma patted the loose cups with cotton, creating a respectable bust line. Turning him to face her, she retrieved her handbag. "Stay still, just for a moment," she directed sternly. William complied, his legs quivering slightly in the high heels, as Emma applied powder to his face. A thick layer of creamy pink lipstick followed, his head held steady by her guiding hand. With precise movements, she dusted soft eyeshadow above and below his eyes. As an added touch, she removed her gold necklace and draped it around his neck, adorning his earlobes with her matching gold earrings. With a small comb, she teased his hair into a soft, feminine style. "All right, take a look," she urged proudly. William hesitated, then turned to face the mirror. His astonishment was palpable. She had transformed him so drastically and swiftly. Emma spoke to him through their reflected gazes. "If I can achieve this in a few minutes here, just imagine what I can do with time and ample resources." "Well, is it a deal? Shall we give it a try?" she proposed. Embarrassment colored William's cheeks once again. What about in bed? I mean, who?" His voice trailed off, his gaze dropping to the floor in uncertainty. Emma chuckled softly. "I understand your concern. In bed, you'll wear a nightie, and I'll make love to you," she explained, her hand brushing against the front of his panties. "Why don't we try it now? Seeing you like this has really excited me. And I sense you're feeling it too," she suggested knowingly. William, feeling the strain against the lace-trimmed front of his panties, covered his embarrassment with his palms. Looking up, they shared a moment of laughter. Emma handed him a short, pink nylon nightie adorned with frothy white lace. It felt absurdly girlish as it dropped over his head, and he ran his fingertips along the lacy hem while Emma undressed. In the charged atmosphere, William swiftly slipped under the bedclothes. Emma joined him, and as her palm caressed him through the thin nylon nightie, William relaxed. Her mouth met his, and her thighs slid over his nylon-encased legs, creating an intimate connection. The following weeks seemed to rush by. With the passing of Emma's aunt, she had inherited substantial wealth and the sprawling country house. Emma disclosed that Aunt Jane had secluded herself there, living as a man. She had so convincingly embraced the male persona that few in the village knew her true identity. Emma expressed her desire to follow in Aunt Jane's footsteps, arriving in the area presenting as male. She wanted everyone to assume she was the dominant figure in the household. "And I'll be the wife?" William ventured, his words more a realization than a query. Emma's frown indicated otherwise. "Actually, no, at least not initially. It might not work out that way. I thought you could start as a live-in servant," she explained. "If things progress, we'll fall in love, and potentially marry. But if you have second thoughts, disappearing will avoid any inquiries about a missing wife," she added matter-of-factly, leaving no room for debate. Though not entirely content with the arrangement, William found himself compelled to accept her reasoning. He grew increasingly troubled by the changes in her behavior and attitude. Emma lived dual lives during this interim period, maintaining a feminine appearance but making substantial alterations to her body. She amassed male clothing and tasked William with continual practice in his female role. He had to give up his job to manage household chores under her directive. Furthermore, Emma insisted that he wear a piece of female clothing at all times, even during mundane activities like shopping or visiting the cleaners.